I used to always like to color, like with a crayon, like that. Every Friday when I was in grammar school was art day, and we'd draw something, and usually the nuns had something up for us to paint, and I enjoyed that. Plus, I would enjoy doing it on my own. Also, like I said, I see a picture I like that I was reading a comic book or a newspaper, and I take that one frame and paint it, copy it. So I did pretty good with that. My name is Richard Privee, the great artist, and I love to paint. And learning to paint, I like it more as I go along. It's rewarding, and it relieves all your stress. You can leave your stress behind, get your paintbrush and your canvas, and go to town. Have fun.
I actually had no idea he knew how to paint until after he retired, when he started doing paint by numbers, and then eventually started watching Bob Ross and doing Bob Ross paintings. So it wasn't until I was in my late 20s.
And I also had no idea he liked to paint and thought that it was hilarious that he was doing paint by numbers. But he ended up being really good at it. And I think that was where he kind of bounced off his painting career.
And seeing how he uses the skills that he learned from his like Bob Ross videos and like the paint by numbers projects in his own like freestyle art, because it looks really good, and it's really amazing to see how learning these skills helped him advance his artistic passion for his own paintings.
He gets something in his head that he wants to do, and he wants to be good at it, and so he does it until he's good at it. So he probably just decided to start color by numbers because it was something to occupy him, and then in his mind he was going to get good at this, and when he wants to do something, he does it.
Yep.
I used to paint a lot of paint by numbers, and after doing a few of those, I figured I could do that, and I did. So I tried a couple of small paintings, just doing them myself, and it came out okay. So then I went on from there.
Grandpa basically is a builder, and a lot of his paintings, he can mat and frame his own paintings. Right, he frames the painting, he does his own matting. He went and took classes on how to do matting and framing. Yeah. He and it's really helped to like enhance a lot of his paintings and made them really pop out. So I think the things that he does to enhance the paintings has a lot to do with his building trade and everything like that, and that he pays attention to the detail. He figures out the background, and then he comes forward and figures out the rest.
I also do framing. I like to frame, mat, and frame pictures. And since I started painting, I started framing my own. And so as far as my carpentry experience goes, that's helped me to do the framing. It helped me in a sense that when I did trim work in a house or building a house, even framing, you always wanted it to come out better than the guy before you. This picture I framed for my grandson, the last born grandson, Lucas, and he made this in kindergarten, and I thought it was pretty impressive. And so I took it home and framed it. I got the matting, and then Grandma thought, well, he's going to sign it. So she put this piece of paper down the bottom, and he signed it, L-U-C, A-S, as long as all the letters were in there. That was his name. He was 3. And his mother liked the frame too. I think she wanted it, but I'm keeping it.
I like his ability to make things, like frames.
Yeah. To fix anything.
Fix
yeah,
anything.
He's so yeah, that's where he more started, was in framing. Like if you ask me how many things he's framed for me, I couldn't even tell you. But
My house is a collage of frames of all the kids' artwork that he framed for me. So it's very handy.
Do you have your first painting or no?
Well, my daughter Sandra in Texas has it. I sent it. She wanted it. I said, "This is the first painting I ever did," and she. It was of a water wheel with a brook coming down, and it was fall scene with the autumn leaves in the background. It was a painting. It was a kit I bought that was sectioned off like in 16 squares, and it said to paint the first square just like this, and it'll go into the second square. But after about the third square, I get sick of that. So I just painted it, just looking at the painting, and I painted it. The trouble is I started with the foreground. Whenever you start a painting, you start with the background. So I went from foreground to middle ground to background, and it was, it didn't come out that good, but it's hard to put a background in when you've already got your foreground. And so I had trouble with it, but it didn't come out that bad. I guess Sandra wanted it. I guess it must come out pretty good.
Are there any paintings of his that are your favorites?
Yes, I think I have them right in back of me. I like the winter scenes, and I like the haystacks. That's one of my absolute favorites. And I like the basket of apples that he did. I think that those are my favorite ones.
I've received one painting from Grandpa.
Can you show us the painting?
Yes. Here's the painting I've received from Grandpa.
Hold it up higher. Oh, nice.
Received one painting from Grandpa. It was my favorite one he had on his shelf, or his wall of paintings. It had what I thought was a duck, but it was actually a pheasant.
I received one painting from Grandpa.
How many paintings have I received from Grandpa? One.
I have my painting, but I haven't unwrapped it yet.
Here it is. Should I put it down?
I was counting, I think 14. I have 4 up in my house now, and I brought 2 of them. This is one that he painted and I wanted. Actually, he hasn't painted anything custom for me. He painted things that I liked. And then this one is my favorite. He found this card and he painted it, and it's one of my absolute favorite pictures.
So, why did Grandpa make you that painting?
Because I had a tattoo of it, Grandpa made me that painting.
Okay, wait. Right. Okay, you can turn back around. So, why did you get that tattoo?
I like fishing.
The painting was of a winter landscape, and there's a cabin covered in snow, and then there's a pheasant right in the front. And that's why I chose that painting, because I thought it was a duck, but it was a pheasant, but it was really cute.
Well, my painting was the opposite of my sister Emma's painting, and it was Grandpa's idea to make it, and I asked him to make me a painting if he had time, and then he came up with the idea.
The meaning of my painting, simply, I went to UNH. It was a fraternity, Acacia, and I expressed that over the years when I dated his daughter, and he painted me an acacia tree. Deep meaning for me, and that's what it was about.
None.
None.
I have received 0 pictures from Grandpa.
I asked for them. He won't offer them because he doesn't think anybody wants them.
He's wrong. I would love one, but he's framed everything in my house.
If you showed any interest in any of these, he would frame it for you and give it to you. He just doesn't think that they're...
There will probably be one less picture in this room when I leave.
I actually started getting his pictures at holidays because he gave me his pumpkin that he painted for Halloween, and then Christmas, and now we have a bunch of Halloween pictures.
The first one I painted was the witch, and I sent that to Sandra in Houston. Just before I sent it, Grandma said, it'd be nice if you painted like 4 or 5 or 6 of these pictures and just at Halloween and just hang them in a group, just the heads. I started doing that. I figured I had 4 more pictures to paint. And then I told Aunt Mo, and she said, I'd like one of those. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And then I told Aunt Sandra that I was going to send her 4 more. She said, I'd like one of those too. So now I got 15 paintings to do. So I didn't tell anybody else. I just kept it right there. And then so I painted all of them, and what I did is I painted all the witches, and then all the Frankensteins, and jack-o'-lanterns and so on. And then, and so they all be basically the same. Then I framed them all. I made 15 frames. That was like a assembly line. Just with me working on it. So I cut out all the wood, put them all together, and then painted them, and installed the pictures. And in Sandra's case, I mailed them out. This is the painting I'm doing next. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm using that for a sample. I'm not going to copy it exactly. I'll paint the whole thing gray, like you can see inside, just to hide the white. It's a modeling background, they call that. So there's actually nothing. And it just but show you there's something there, you know what I'm saying? So you do that first, and then, I don't know if you can see the charcoal right here. I don't want to come any further than that, or any higher than that. And I already went with my line here. So I wanted my picture in there. And then so what I do is I take the same charcoal and I outline. And tomorrow I'll start painting it. What I'll do is I'll paint inside here a color like the inside of the basket would be. Probably some kind of brown or something. It doesn't matter really what color, as long as it doesn't overwhelm what I'm going to put in it. If the whole thing disappears, that's all right too. Then I'm just going to paint the picture and decide what kind of style I'm going to put in the basket. So I start off with this. I'll paint that. Then I'll erase the charcoal. Then I'll start painting the background. I see that leaf in the back and this one. And these. I'll start painting those first. And then I'll come forward, paint the ones in the middle. And then I'll paint the front ones. And then I'll touch up the whole painting. So that's my style.
Grandpa's inspired me because he loves simple things. He gets pleasure from finding a new grocery store or seeing a bird out his window, and he just isn't always looking for the next great thing or going to the next great place. He's just as happy to go to Hawaii as he would be to go to upstairs in the living room and hang out.
I find his baking hobby to be the most inspiring. That's my answer's gonna sound bad.
Does he get to eat it?
His baking hobby is most inspiring because he makes really good chocolate mousse pie.
I think the most inspiring is obviously painting, because he's found a passion to do it and extend it to his family and give everyone a painting.
His hat hobby. It sticks out the most to me.
Why?
He just has a lot of hats.
Have you talked to him about this?
No.
We work down here in the room together a lot. You know, he's playing his banjo.
Obviously playing the banjo.
I was really inspired by Grandpa picking up the banjo.
Definitely banjo playing. Well, banjo playing is the one I identify most with him.
I like to play the banjo, the mandolin, and the guitar. And the banjo mostly.
Right about now, you hear a lot of applause, really loud. Exactly, yeah.
put in the time and commitment to improve his talent. And at the time that he started teaching himself banjo, I was still learning how to play the cello, and I was still trying to improve my own techniques, and I saw all the time he spent working on his craft, and it made me want to spend even more time practicing on mine so we could play together. And there was a few Christmases where we would try and do like a cello and banjo rendition of Jingle Bells.
Keep me in another
That never sounded great, but it was always fun to play with him. And now it's fun to like go to the Bluegrass Festival with him and freestyle with him and do like jam band styles with them. And now I play the ukulele, so it sounds a lot better than trying to throw a cello into the mix of that.
My son-in-law gave me the mandolin, so I just felt it necessary to learn how to play it, so I just taught myself how to play it. And so I enjoy the mandolin too, but mostly the banjo. When I first got out of the Army, out of the 1963, and I took lessons for a while. That didn't work out, so then I just kind of put it aside for a while. Then, about 20 years later, I tried again, and I was a little better that time. And then I bought these DVDs that they were instructional, and that's where I learned the most. Bob Ross influenced me in a great way. I used to watch his shows on TV. It looked so easy. He was such a friendly guy. You just wanted to hear him talk, not even watch him paint. But he would paint, and it looked easy, and I decided to try it. I got a canvas and the paints, and that was my first painting, and it's the worst painting I ever did, because you can't keep up with Bob Ross in 30 minutes, like he says. So. But then I bought his DVDs also, his instructional ones, and then when I couldn't catch up, I just shut it off, and then I would catch up, and then turn it back on, and then it was okay then. Then it came out all right. But you can't follow along on a TV show. It was John Serlin, and when I lived in South Carolina, he lived on the same street as I did. And I went into his house once, and there's some beautiful pictures. And his wife said, you like those? I said, yeah. I said, John painted it. I said, you're John? She says, yeah. I said, with a paintbrush and paint? Yeah, he actually painted those. That's great. So he was a big inspiration. And he taught me a few things too. We'd go down in his studio and he'd show me how to paint. And when he taught me, he gave me a canvas, he had a canvas, and we used his brushes and paint. He started painting. We opened the book, found a picture we wanted to paint. He just started painting, and I started painting. He didn't tell me what to do. He told me how to mix the colors. But he didn't tell me to start here, start there. And he just started painting. Then every once in a while, he'd look at my painting, and he wouldn't say anything. But if he saw me doing something wrong, then he would tell me. So he was actually a good teacher. But the one who inspired me the most, I was going to say, is Jerry Yarnell. Yarnell School of Fine Art is the name of his DVDs that I get. He's the one doing all the acrylics. This is the picture that I painted when I was watching Lucas when he was first born. In between, changing his diaper, feeding his bottle, and whatever. I just worked on this, and whenever I had the free time, I just work on it. Normally they take me about a month, and that's about how long this took. And I thought it came out pretty good. We get the This is an added thing I did to it with the smoke coming up. That's how I came from painting by number. Actually, freehand painting is I would embellish these. And I said, well, you know, I can paint. I enjoyed painting by numbers, and I still kept painting by number, even though I was painting freehand, because I enjoyed it.
And he was very supportive of us, especially sports, going to watch every single race I had, any game we had. He was there cheering louder than anybody for everybody, not just for us, but for our friends.
I think that Grandpa really cares for his family because he always makes paintings for us.
Yeah, I think, to me, I think he puts a lot of thought into everything he does. But he cares about his family. You know, that's the passion he has.
Are there some paintings you wouldn't want to sell?
No, the only ones I wouldn't sell is the ones that I already gave away. It's theirs now. So that would be the apples, because I gave that to my wife. She had first claim. Whenever anybody comes in here and I'm painting a picture and they like it and they claim it, it's theirs. Those I wouldn't sell, but I can buy anything else. No, I'll sell. It's better in somebody else's house hanging on the wall than it is hanging on my wall here or in a box. So, yes, I would sell it. And then my daughters claim some. And as soon as they claim them, they're theirs. And if they ask before my wife, well, she's out of luck. I give it to my kid, whoever asks first. Why do I like it?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I say, I see something that I say, I like that. I could paint that. And then when I do paint it, it's good. Then I feel I did that. I feel proud that I had painted it. Especially now when I hadn't seen all these pictures. And now all of a sudden they hear, I say, I did that. So that kind of a feeling.